All right, so now we're going to talk about different types of market structures, and this is one of my favorite topics. And I don't often get to teach this because, as you've seen, that there's a lot of build up to get to this point, and not a lot of time in this course um, for the depth that we go into some of these topics. But this is an awesome way to frame the real world in terms of uh, how markets behave, what different market structures mean for profit, what they mean for efficiency, what they mean for price, what they mean for cost. Okay, so it's going to build on the producer theory stuff. We're going to look at the average total cost curve and average fixed cost, variable cost, marginal revenue. What does that mean? All that kind of stuff. So we're going to start with a review, and it's going to carry forward. It's going to go through perfect competition, or pure competition, as your book calls it. Then it's going to go to monopoly, and it touches monopolistic competition as well. Not so much oligopoly. So we'll look at perfect competition. We'll look at the different ways that its cost curves lay out. We're going to compare long run versus short run costs, the characteristics of what makes it perfect competition. Okay, so uh, perfect competition essentially is a lot of buyers, a lot of sellers, um, and then why what brings it about that there's a lot of sellers. Then once we do perfect competition, we're going to move to monopoly, which is the opposite end of things. So perfect competition has like millions of sellers, and none of them have control over price. Um, monopoly is basically one seller who has complete control over price, complete control over quantity, what have you. Perfect competition, you differentiate between the firms um, supply and demand curves versus the industry's supply and demand curves. With monopoly, the firm is the industry. Okay. Then we're going to move into, and we're only going to touch on this briefly because I had to push things back, and so whatever. But we're going to move into monopolistic competition, which is like a hybrid between monopoly and perfect competition. So that's when there's a lot of firms, but each firm essentially has a monopoly on their piece of the puzzle. So last week I talked about like different brands of jeans. Like each brand of jean is a little bit different. Levi's is different from Lucky Brand, is different from Aeropostale, is different from Urban Outfitters jeans, it's different from Hollister jeans. But at the end of the day, they're all jeans, right? It's not like having a monopoly on a vaccine, right? Where you can charge whatever price you want. If you charge a really, really high price for jeans, unless it's justified in how differentiated it is, people are probably not going to, want your jeans. Versus with perfect competition, if you charge even a little bit above the going price, well, nobody's going to buy it. So perfect competition is really strict price competition. Monopolistic competition, somewhere in between, and monopoly is essentially no price competition. There's no other firms in the market. Then we'll talk briefly about oligopoly, and it's kind of hard to teach oligopoly in like a small section, particularly when you guys don't have game theory or calculus under your belts. So just kind of touching on oligopoly, and then I have a brief thing about monopsony, and I'm not even sure if I'm going to be able to get to this. I might just put it up as an optional lecture, optional video, but yeah. Let's move into the review.